See if anyone shows up. Move this. Nope, remove that frame. Look over here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, dude, you're in Virginia? I didn't know that. What up, Blue Room? Whereabouts in Virginia? I hate delay on things. It's just weird because I have like a screen in front of me and I'm seeing what's going on the screen, but it's like 7 second delayed or so. Actually, maybe more than that. It's like 30 seconds or some crap. It's my cat cleans herself. Virginia Beach. Alright. Nice, nice. Nothing wrong with some Virginia beachage. So what have you been watching lately? I assume you've been hanging out in the house. Yeah, I can't look at. I gotta move my stuff so I'm not looking at my delayed self. It's too distracting. Yeah, I just kind of jumped on. I didn't have anything planned, so I was just kind of feeling like jumping on. It's Friday night. I'm not really doing a whole lot, so I figured why don't I just jump on and start seeing if anyone jumps on and wants to talk. Oh, dude, Brian Deal, yeah, man. Monster Mania getting canceled. That was really sucky. So for me with Monster Mania, I was most interested in Sam Raimi, which I'm sure a lot of people were. So once he canceled, I was like, But then I was all about Chris Sarandon at that point because I love Jerry Dandridge from the original Fright Night. And then he canceled, and then Jackie Earl Haley canceled as well, and that's who my buddy wanted to meet. So we jumped out of the show. We asked for a refund on the first go round. So, oh yeah, that's right. Blue Room, your the neck surgery situation. Well, hopefully that's healing up pretty fast. You finished watching Oprah, Oprah. I like I accidentally typed Oprah. Yeah, Opera. Is that the first time you've seen Opera, or is that a multiple viewing situation for you? Because I actually just saw it for the first time sometime last year. I don't remember when. Maybe it was in October-ish. Maybe even before that. Like, all the Argento I consumed was, I think, in 2019 thus far. So I got to get a little Argento in this year. Well, I did the Cat of Nine Tails this year, but I got to do some more. Yeah, man. So, did people want to talk a little bit about Reanimator since, unfortunately, Stuart Gordon passed away, which was friggin' awful. Yeah, 1987 opera. Yeah. Yeah, opera was Argento's opera It's not my favorite. Actually, I have my list of my notes on my top Giallo films. Where does that fall for me? Top Giallo films. Opera is not super high up. I did put it ahead of The Cat o' Nine Tails, though, like slightly, and behind Don't Look Now by Nicholas Roeg. I don't know. Oh, you haven't watched opera in decades? Yeah. Well, that'll always good to revisit. Yeah, I know. Oh, Brian, you didn't know that Stuart Gordon passed away? Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, I believe. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Stuart friggin' Gordon, man. The guy who worked with Brian Usna to give us Reanimator, and then worked with Brian Usna again to give us Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Two pretty different things, if you ask me. Yeah, From Beyond. I haven't seen From Beyond yet, but I was planning to see From Beyond at some point soon. It's just one of those many, many films that's just on my list to get to, because there's a ridiculous amount of those films. Got to get to those things. By the way, if you're interested, Blue Room, my favorite Giallo I've seen thus far is Deep Red by Argento. I love Deep Red. That was so good. Followed by Baba's Blood and Black Lace. Yeah, that one was really good. And then Tenebrae. Those are my top three. Yeah. So Reanimator. I mean, I'm down to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, but since it is timely and Stuart Gordon passed away, I don't know if you guys did want to talk a little bit about Reanimator or anything having to do with Stuart Gordon, really. Yeah, I've seen Society. I freaking love Society. So I think the first time I saw Society was sometime in 2018, maybe. It was not super far ahead of when Joe Bob did it on the last drive-in. So when I saw it on the last drive-in, it was the second time I'd seen it, and the first time I saw it was I was like floored by how much I love the movie. Like, it's not like a great movie, but it's a fun movie, like super fun movie. I loved it. It feels like so ridiculously 80s, and just the shunting in the end of it is just Screaming Mad George, man. The way he did those practical effects is just pretty awesome. But yeah, I love Society. I want to own it at some point. I'm not purchasing a whole lot of physical media at the moment. I made a purchase kind of recently, and I'm going to wait for my next one, but my next batch of purchases will probably have Society in it. So, yeah, I love Society. What else has Brian Usna done? He was involved with Reanimator, and he was involved with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But other than that, because I want to check out more Usna stuff, to be honest. Usna. What else did he do? Brian Usna. I mean, you gotta be pretty weird to make Society. That's a weird ass thing. Writer. In 2010, he made a screenplay for Amphibious Creature of the Deep. I don't know what that's about, but Beyond Reanimator in 2003, Takut, Faces of Fear in 2008. Yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot. Oh, Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker. Yeah, Bride Reanimator, obviously. Initiation, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. From Beyond. He did the adaptation of From Beyond. Usna did, so, yeah, I mean, he hasn't done a ton. That sucks, man. I'd like to see some more Usna. But I guess we don't really get that because he's underappreciated as a filmmaker. So many people panned on Society, and it's only becoming like a cult classic now, pretty much. So, you know, people aren't gonna... video resolution. So that's good. Anyway. Let me look at... I can make this a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, it's set on... probably what it should be set on. Whatever. Have I checked out any new Fulci stuff? Not, I mean, I've done the 5 Fulci movies that I've done reviews on. Let me see if I can remember them. Zombie. What is his one Giallo I watched? Why am I friggin' blanking on his one Giallo film I watched? But City of the Living Dead, The House by the Cemetery. What's the other one? I'm tired at the moment. Why can't I remember the third one in that grouping? This is bad. The Beyond. That's right. You said From Beyond. The Beyond. What's the Giallo of his? I know I can't... Well, there's one quick way to remedy that. I can find it. Nice. Just take a look at my review. Oh, Don't Torture a Duckling. That's right. The reason I probably didn't remember that is because I wasn't huge on it. It was okay. I wasn't crazy about that one. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I knew you would probably throw it in the chat. Don't Torture a Duckling. But in the meantime, since there's a delay on this, I was like, I might as well look it up. Not doing anything else right now. There was a movie I watched recently that I can't remember the name. At the end of the children killed their parents by the lake. Was that Bay of Blood? Was that Bay of Blood? I think it was Bay of Blood. By... oh, crap. Who did Bay of Blood? Was that Bava? I think Bava did Bay of Blood. I've seen Bay of Blood before, but it's actually been... it's been a while. It's been a while. Let me look up Bay of Blood. I think it's Bava, though. Which, that's another thing. Since I've been watching a lot of Italian horror, I guess I should deep dive Bava next. Because, makes sense. A Bay of Blood... yeah, director Bava. Yeah. Yep, yes, yeah. Bava, baby. Yeah, I don't think I've seen... well, now that I have it up, I might as well look at what other stuff Bava's done. I haven't seen a whole lot of Bava. I know A Bay of Blood, the Blood and Black Lace. Other than that... I mean, he's got 39 directing credits. Lust of the Vampire. Oh, there's a bunch that says he's uncredited on. A bunch. Black Sunday. I think I've seen Black Sunday, but it's been a while. Like 5 years or so. Girl Who Knew Too Much, Black Sabbath. Haven't seen those. The Whip and the Body. No. Planet of the Vampires. No. These are all one. Kill Baby Kill. No. Danger Diabolic. Yeah, these are all ones I need to see. Like, I know the names, but I just... oh, Barren Blood. Oh my god. I have seen Barren Blood. That movie... I'm not a fan. That one's terrible. Oh, and Shock. I've heard good things about Shock from 77. I'm gonna check that out. Italian horror recommendations. The Church, Stage Fright, and Demons. So, I have seen Stage Fright and I have seen Demons. I did a review on Stage Fright on my channel, actually. It's in the playlist on the channel that's for Giallo. And Demons, I've seen a few times, but I haven't done a review on it yet. If I do Demons, I'll feel compelled to do Demons 2 as well. Because, honestly, I kind of like Demons 2 more, because it, felt more 80s. That's just, my sensibility of the things that I like. And The Sect. I've heard of The Sect. And The Church, I have not heard of The Church. I'll have to check those out, though. Next movie on the list is Stendhal Syndrome by Argento. Yes, Blue Room. Stendhal Syndrome is on my list on Shudder. It's been sitting on my list on Shudder for quite some time to watch, so I need to get to that. But they keep popping up all these other movies that I really want to watch, and then I just end up going towards those, and I don't look at the ones that have kind of sat on my list and got stale on there. So, Asia Argento's hot as hell. For me, I mean, good for you. For me, I don't. She's fine, in my opinion. She's fine. I do think it's a little weird, the relationship she has with her father, or had with her father, where he was, she was in the roles she was in films of his, and he was filming it. It's just kind of a, I don't know. I just don't know how you do that. I don't know how you're that comfortable with it. It's weird. But hey, whatever. Teach their own. But yeah, if you're into Asia Argento, nice. All about it. Whoever you find, whoever you dig. I mean, some people would say. I mean, some people are going to say that anyone's, interest is weird. Yeah, very weird. Yeah. About the relationship of Asia and Dario. Yeah. Here's the thing. Dario Argento in general, I think, is kind of a weird guy. I mean, obviously, he's amazing at visuals, and he's a really great director and everything, but I just find, like, certain things he gravitates towards weird, like we were just talking, his relationship with his daughter, super, super weird. And also, the other thing is, like, his obsession with animals and putting them in film is fine, except that, like, you get the sense that he just, like, hates cats and he wants to do stuff with cats. Like, his laser focused obsession is just weird to me. But he's a great director. I mean, I haven't seen all of his stuff, but at some point, I want to get there. Want to get to that point. Too many. What? Oh, I did hear about that Blue Room. The Asia Argento's relationship with Anthony Bourdain. I did hear about that. Yeah, that's very interesting. It's very. What was the age difference there? Is my question. I mean, it had to be at least 10 years, I would think. Hot and I like how you put his hot and steamy relationship, not just a relationship, hot and steamy specifically. Nice. Yeah, that whole thing with Bourdain dying, that was rough. He was pretty great. I mean, the way that guy did his like the voiceovers for a show and everything, he was an excellent writer, narrator. Loved his show. Every iteration of it. It was all like the same show and just had a bunch of different names. I might send out a tweet and see if some other folks want to jump on too. Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, which is your favorite series? Between those two, that's a hard one because I like a lot about both of them. If I'm gonna have to choose between them, I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street over Friday the 13th because there are a lot more interesting elements to Nightmare on Elm Street. Plus, I think that the series stayed good longer, in my opinion, than Friday the 13th did. For my personal taste, that is. But I will say that, like, if you're going to ask me about maybe what do I find more enjoyable, I would say probably, like, the first two Friday the 13th films I enjoy more than Nightmare on Elm Street films. The first bunch of those. So, I don't know. It's just, like, this weird... Some of it's situational too, like what mood am I in is another thing that ends up happening. So, let's send out a tweet. But I'll get what you're saying. Don't worry. He was born in 56 and she was born in 75. Yeah, that's a that's a big difference right there. That's a big difference. Oh my god. YouTube. Yeah, when I saw the question of the Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, my initial thought was Phantasm, because I'd rather just watch Phantasm, that whole series. I love the series of Phantasm films. I'm gonna make you do the math, Blue Room, because I'm too tired. I worked today, and then I'm tired at this point. I just wanted to do some streaming though. So you do the math. You brought it up. You do the math. And then divide that by hot and steamy. Waiting for the math. Alright, I'm just going to do like a quick tweet. Not take too much time on it, but so one thing I did want to find out if you guys had any idea or any feelings on it strongly. I put up a review recently for Event Horizon. I want to get more opinions on Event Horizon from people, because I have a few strong opinions about Event Horizon, and a few thoughts on it. Have I had any bad convention experience with celebrities? I wouldn't say bad. I mean, my buddy, he met Ric Flair at one of the Monster Manias, and he was pretty dismissive, not that nice of a guy. And my buddy was real mad because instead of giving him the 4 horsemen, he only gave him 2, which was really funny. So yeah. But me personally, I wouldn't say that I've had any like real bad experiences with any celebrities there. Probably the closest to bad I'd say was Shannon Elizabeth. When I met her, like she was super nice, but it felt like overly saccharine, like kind of like a fake nice. But the thing is, I don't know if that's just her personality, like how she is. It felt very fake to me, so I was a little turned off by that. But I don't know. Maybe that's just who she is, how she is. I can't make that decision, but can't make that judgment, I should say. Okay, so Brian, you like Event Horizon. Like what? Here's the thing. Like, what do you like most about Event Horizon? Like, give me some specifics on what really appeals to you about Event Horizon. Because I'll say, okay, I'm gonna let you go first on that, and then I'll tell you, because there are things I like about it and things I don't like about it. We can hash that out. Well, okay, yeah. I mean, it does need a director's cut. I do think that it would probably benefit greatly from a director's cut. Unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to happen. So, basically what happened is that Paul W.S. Anderson, the guy who did it, who also directed Resident Evil, I think all the Resident Evils, he knows of a cut, because originally what had happened is that they had cut a bunch of the film, and then when he went back to get what was cut from it, he couldn't find it, so it was either lost or destroyed at that point. Well, one of the producers of the film eventually found like a original cut of on VHS, and so he said that Anderson could have a look at that if he wanted to, but he just hasn't. As far as I know, he just hasn't done it, and I feel like was probably so salty about how things went with Event Horizon that he just didn't want to mess with it. But honestly, if there's any point where they're going to do a director's cut, kind of now's the time, because I feel like it's at its peak. Actually, give it a year maybe, and I think it'll be even more popular. You like the space scenes? Yeah, the space scenes in Event Horizon look really good, Brian. They look really good. And that's one of the things I like most about Event Horizon is it looks awesome. And the version that's out right now looks so good. It looks clean. It looks crisp, especially for how old it is. Which this is like 97. It wasn't like crazy old, but like film from 1997 right now, a lot of it looks like total garbage, especially because of the CG. And the CG doesn't look that bad in Event Horizon. Yeah, and that's my favorite thing about it, is it looks amazing. And Sam Neill's performance is really good, and Lawrence Fishburne's performance is really good. But I have some problems with how vague it is. There's a lot of ambiguity. I know it was kind of intentionally written that way. Not initially, but the script is a whole nother rigmarole. Like, it went through so much crap. The horror elements toward the end of the movie. Yeah, I mean, there are some really good horror scenes, but I think this is where the director's cut thing comes in. It needed more gore for those horror moments. It really needed to sell it with the gore, and that's a lot of what they cut. Stupid studios. That's a lot of what Paramount cut out of it, is the gore. Which, it's horror. Like, you put in as much gore as possible. Like, that's what puts butts in seats for horror films, The story's a little sketchy. I think it's really sketchy, to be honest. Like, it's just kind of like the ship. It went into a black hole, and now it's like this sentient evil being. Like, it's too vague. You enjoy the characters, especially that guy Cooper. He was funny. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Effects, yeah, the effects, yep. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, legitimate. All legitimate. Yeah, my problem is just, like I said, the fact that there's a lot of ambiguity to it. I feel like they need to kind of explain more about the actual ship and where it went and what happened to it. They don't even have to explain it all, but a little bit more. And also the backstories on the characters themselves, because it seems like they didn't develop. Like, nobody developed, really. Everyone just showed up and they stayed the same the whole time. Like, things happened to them and they alluded to things in their pasts, going along with the hallucinations, but I mean, there was no development. There were no real changes in characters other than basically being possessed by Event Horizon. But you needed, like, more in-depth characters. You needed more backstory, really. You needed more backstory on, not necessarily all of them, but at least a few of them. Like, Sam Neill's character, at the least. Like, he's the main character in the start of it. Give, like, more of a backstory about his wife, and give it up front. Don't put it in towards the end when it kind of seems like whatever, like you don't even care that much anymore. So those are just my feelings on it. I feel like it's good, better than people thought it was when it came out, I would say, but not as good, in my opinion, as a lot of people say it is now. But, I get it. Oh, Uncle Pete. You're not really late to the party. It's not like I announced it really ahead of time or anything like that. So, welcome. Welcome, Uncle Pete. You're in, what time is it where you're in Hawaii? What time is it now? It's gonna be late. Just recently watched Soldier, which he directed in 1998. Not very good. I haven't even heard of Soldier, so I would assume it's probably not very good, Brian. I haven't even heard of that. I mean, and Paul W.S. Anderson, like, he's best known for, other than Event Horizon, he's best known for the Resident Evil films, and by and large, I think people look at it as like the first one was really good, and then after that, it just kind of went off the rails. But I haven't seen all of them. I've only seen the first two. I do plan to watch them all at some point, though, because I am curious. Oh, California. Why did I think Hawaii? Did someone else live in Hawaii who was on the last live stream? Am I getting confused? Maybe. Oh, so ooh, yeah. So in California, you're probably on like lockdown or something. Soldier was Kurt Russell. Hmm. Now I have to look it up. I at least need to see the cover art now. You know, that's how I operate. Soldier. 1998. Kurt Russell. That's right. Oh my gosh, dude. The movie poster art looks so generic and stupid. God, that looks terrible. It's like a close up of like a portion of Kurt Russell's face, and then like spaceships coming off the side of it, and then like what looks like moon landscape with like a person standing there, and it just says soldier. That looks doesn't look good. What's in it? Jason Isaacs. Oh my gosh, Sean Pertwee. You kidding me? Event Horizon, Dog Soldiers, Sean Pertwee. He's like everywhere. Oh my gosh, Gary Busey was in that. Whew. Gary Busey, baby. I remember meeting Gary Busey. That guy he's something, man. He's a fun guy though. Nice guy. He sang with my friend. It was really funny. It was like Solo and Universal Soldier. That doesn't sound good. I have a horror question. What horror movie villain still scares the shit out of you? I don't. I mean, I don't really get scared by horror movie villains, and part of the reason for that is that I didn't really watch horror when I was young because I wasn't allowed to. I was in a household where my parents were super controlling about the media that I took in. So movies, books, all that type of stuff. So I didn't get scared. So like when I've been introduced to a lot of these villains, it's in my adult years. So I'm not really scared of it. But I would say this: what does scare me is the movie Gone Girl. By the way, that movie Gone Girl is terrifying. The whole premise and what goes on in it. That night after I watched it, I had a nightmare about those types of events happening to me. Whew, man. I mean, there's nothing more scary than being framed, you know, and you can't do anything about it. It bombed at the box office. Soldier did. Is that what you're referring to, Brian? The Soldier? Because by the poster art, it should have bombed. For me, it will always be the Blob. Oh, you're scared of the Blob, Uncle Pete? Is that because you kind of don't know what it really is, and it can kind of get anywhere? Could get you when you're on the toilet. The Blob is terrifying. I mean, I could see that, yeah. Which reminds me, I always forget if it's 1988 or 1986. I think it's 88. The Blob remake with Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith, which I met Shawnee Smith. She's very nice. Yeah, okay, Brian. Yeah, Soldier was the one that bombed. Yeah, it looks like it should have. I mean, I feel bad saying that because Kurt Russell was in it, and I do quite like Kurt Russell, but, you know. Hell yes, the Blob. Coming up through the toilet, it's going to get you. I know people all the time had said that, I've heard numerous people say this, by the way, that after seeing Jaws, they were afraid to sit on the toilet. Like there was ever really a way that a shark would get through the plumbing. But with the Blob, that should scare you because the Blob could definitely get through the plumbing. It could get anywhere. Yeah, exactly. It can come from anywhere. The effects on the remake were incredible. Yes, yes. They used for the actual blob material when it was like covering people and stuff, they used some sort of chemical that was like partially silk, which is why it looks the way it does, why it like kind of shimmers as much as it does and looks so like real and pliable, but also gross and slimy. It looked amazing. Yeah, they did an amazing job with that. I love that movie. That's on my list of like some of the best remakes ever. Obviously, The Thing. We've talked about The Thing, but obviously, The Thing is like the best remake ever. Blue Room movies like Demons are scary. Looking at bright eyes coming out of the dark towards you, making grunting noises. Yeah, I can see that. Unless it's a movie like Insidious, where you know the demon in it just looks comical. That's why I hate those Insidious movies. Only cold can stop the blob. If you're in the house, if you're in your house, all you can do is throw ice at it. Yeah, no, that's true. That's totally true. Or get in your fridge. Half the creatures in the TV X-Files are scary as hell. No, that's true. That's true, Blue Room. That's true. X-Files did a great job with having villains, creatures, scary things. That is something that I started watching when I was in high school, because that's when, my parents started to be like, okay, you're a little bit older now, you're getting ready for college. Go ahead, watch what you want. So I would watch X-Files all the time. Love it. Demons is such a good movie. Yeah, Uncle Pete. Demons is a good one. Demons is a good one. And like I said, Demons 2. I think I like Demons 2 more, but I'd have to go back and rewatch them back to back to really make that determination. Older movies built better suspense with horror, which made it more impactful. For the most part, I think you're right. But one thing that I get caught up into, and I think a lot of other people do, is the fact that when you're seeing movies now, they're usually using a lot of the same stuff that's already been done before in decades prior, which sometimes you can avoid it, sometimes you really can't. So you're kind of like, when you're watching it, you're immune to it. You've seen it before, so when you see it, you kind of dismiss it. And I think that's part of why, you feel like they don't build suspense the same way, because you're like, I've seen this done before. Although I will say a movie that builds suspense really well and is really messed up, I had to do a palate cleanser after watching it so I could go to bed, to be honest. Incident in a Ghostland by Pascal Laugier. Same guy did Martyrs. I should have expected it going into it because I had seen Martyrs before I watched it. Ooh, that movie's brutal, man. It's good, though. It's definitely a good film. I have a review of it on the channel. Modern movies don't build suspense like the old ones, right? Oh, Little Angel showed up. What up? How you doing? You're right, we've seen everything already. I know, Uncle Pete, right? Like, I feel like almost everything I watch, I can see something recycled in it, or at least a few things recycled in it. That's what ends up happening. And then you just become immune to it, and you're not as engaged. It's unfortunate, really. It sucks. But, it just comes down to the fact that there's so much out there, there's so much that keeps getting made, and we have the time to, consume all that. Plus, if you're like us, we just love to watch a lot of movies. So you're going to end up seeing, like, everything. It's hard to make something new that we haven't seen before. Yeah, it definitely is. Growing up in the 60s, 70s, all those monsters that were scary then now seem to be part of the family. Yeah, I agree with that, Blue Room. I mean, does anyone nowadays even think of someone like the Wolfman or old school Bela Lugosi Dracula or like Karloff Frankenstein? Like, I feel like people look at them and think they're like cute, And I think part of what kind of brought that about were shows like The Munsters and The Addams Family, because they took those same types of characters and they made them quaint, they made them comedic, they made them feel like a family, like you were saying. Like, they were a family that you felt you were a part of when you watched the episodes. Which, by the way, I did watch those when I was young. I feel like that's kind of partially how I got an interest in horror. Was when I was super young, I spent a lot of time in front of the TV, and my parents would have me watching like The Munsters, The Addams Family, Scooby Doo. All those are horror light for kids. I mean, I'm glad that it happened because obviously I love horror now, so all about that. Oh, little angels just waking up from a nap. Listen to an episode of CBS Radio Mystery Theater during your nap. Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. CBS Radio Mystery Theater. I didn't know about that. One of the scariest scenes can be found in Exorcist 3. Agree or disagree? I haven't seen Exorcist 3, to be honest. I've only seen the first Exorcist. That's it. Great movie. Love it. But that's as far as I've gotten, to be honest. I need to see the other two. That goes back to what I say all the time, is I've got this huge list of movies that I keep meaning to watch. Exorcist 2 and 3 are on there. Favorite Stephen King adaptation? Well, I mean The Shining, even though King hates it and it's not very true to King. But I just love The Shining so much. But ones that are more true to his stuff, I just finished on HBO The Outsider, and that was awesome. That show was so well done. I loved it. So I'm just gonna say that, to be honest, The Outsider. If you haven't seen it, get HBO and watch it. I think HBO goes like $20 for a month or something like that. You can watch that and some other good stuff, and then just quit after a month. Oh, Little Angel's favorite is It. Which It? The Tim Curry It or the Bill Skarsgård It? Important to know that. Christine. Okay. You know, it's funny you bring that up, Uncle Pete, because I just put Christine in my Netflix DVD queue today, because that's another one that's on my list that I haven't gotten to. I know it seems like a real basic, and I mean, admittedly, it is, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. So I literally added it today and moved it towards the top of the list. So I will be getting to Christine soon. Misery. Another one I haven't seen. I have not seen Misery. And James Caan's in that, right? I like James Caan. Yeah. Telling you though, Outsider. I was kind of change this a little bit. Some more water. Yeah, I'm excited to watch Christine because not only is it a King adaptation, but John Carpenter did it. So, I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I've heard only good things. Pete, Uncle Pete. Yeah, I've heard that Christine's real good. I feel like maybe if I'm gonna watch Christine, then maybe I'll do a review on it, I'm sure, but maybe I should release the day after it a review on Maximum Overdrive to keep with the, car theme, which I have not seen. I've seen portions of Maximum Overdrive. I haven't seen the whole thing yet. CBS Radio Mystery Theater, an anthology radio drama show from the 70s to 80s. Hour-long episodes hosted by E.G. Marshall. If you like radio drama, you might like this. I do. I listen to a lot of podcasts, actually, so I'd be down with that. Check that out. Thanks, Little Angel. Book is better as always, but still great. Love me some John Carpenter. Yeah, Uncle Pete. John Carpenter. Yeah, buddy. Blue Room, original Pet Cemetery. Yeah. Or Maximum Overdrive. Still need to see it. Misery. Still need to see it. Favorite John Carpenter movie? Other than... Yeah, you do have to say other than The Thing. It might be The Fog. I like The Fog a lot. And the great thing about that movie is if you boil down what the premise is and you think about what the pitch for that should have or could have been like, it sounds terrible. But it works really well and it looks really good. And just the location that they created of the radio station being in a lighthouse, that's crazy. It's amazing. The Stand was very good. Haven't seen The Stand. Gotta do that. It is my favorite King novel. Okay. Yeah, yeah. You like both film versions? Yeah, me too. They're very different, but yeah, I think they're both very good. Yeah. Oh, the Maximum Overdrive and Christine reviews, Uncle Pete. Yeah, I should do those. I should definitely do those. That reminds me, I might as well. Now that since I have my phone in front of me, and I just put Christine towards the top of my list today, I might as well throw Maximum Overdrive up there too. Although I did put from the last live stream, I put Brain Scan towards the top since we were talking about it, and I've been wanting to see that too. So Maximum Overdrive. Oh yeah. Oh no. I can't get Maximum Overdrive through Netflix DVD. They don't have it. That's BS, dude. How are you not gonna have that? They have a lot of obscure stuff on there, and then they don't have that. Come on. Uncle Pete, Halloween in the Fog. Yeah, Halloween's great. Obviously, man, I love the Fog. The Fog's so great. Little Angel, yep. The Fog. Love Halloween, yep. Yep. Love hearing about making those movies in The Search of Darkness, yeah. In Search of Darkness is a really good documentary. It just sucks that it's so expensive. It's so unbelievably expensive. Because I kind of wanted to own it after I saw it. But then I saw the price tag and I was like, do I want to own it that bad? Because it's also 4 hours. And that's a real commitment. But, I mean, with the way it is put together, you can kind of just like watch a little bit, stop, watch a little bit, stop. And you don't lose anything from the experience. Stephen King movie with the best ending, The Mist. Not seen The Mist, actually. I need to do that. Was that a Frank Darabont? Or he did one of them, maybe. I don't know. And then they did a remake of The Fog. And they did a remake of The Mist as well, didn't they? Brain Scan, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do Brain Scan. They Live. Yeah, so I need to revisit They Live. I have it on DVD. I should watch it and do a review. Um, I like it and I don't like it. Like Rowdy Roddy Piper's not like good in it. I just need to. It's been so many years that I need to watch it through a different lens. Because originally when I was watching it, I had heard, "Oh, I love They Live. I love They Live" from people. So I went into it thinking this is a really good movie, but I think I need to watch it through the lens of this is a good bad movie. That's what I think I need. And actually, my uncle, They Live is his favorite movie. Period. He actually had an idea. He called me up one day and he was just like, what do you think about this? I'm thinking about trying to write a script of an update for They Live, but since it's now in the 20th century, we'll have it so that, or 21st century, we'll have it so that it all comes about not because of sunglasses but because of LASIK surgery. And I was like, I don't know, just write it. I don't know. It depends on how you write. If you could put yourself in a horror movie to die in, what movie would it be? Well, I think I'd have to consider how would I want to go. I think I think it'd need to be like a I didn't see it coming type thing. So what movies have a lot of people don't see it coming and they get it? Final Destination, maybe, for that reason. Be one of the unsuspecting people who just gets it because I don't want to know. I don't want to know it's coming. So I guess I have to pick Final Destination, which, by the way, the Final Destination movies are fun. To be honest, I don't hate any of them. I think they're all fun in different ways. Who would you want to be killed by? I mean, if we're going with who would I want to be killed by from the death, based off my response to my response of Final Destination. But if we're picking like who would I want the honor of taking my life, kind of probably the Tall Man from Phantasm, because I love Phantasm so much, and the Tall Man is an amazing villain. Amazing villain. Real weird, because basically he's an alien. And I usually don't like alien stuff, but you don't know that from the first film. It would suck, but I'd choose Hatchet. Uncle Pete, you choose Hatchet, Victor Crowley, aka Kane Hodder. That's another. That brings up another thing. I watched the first two Hatchet movies some years ago, and I didn't enjoy them. Should I rewatch them? Would I enjoy them again? Or would I enjoy them now, having seen them much later? I don't know. Weigh in on that. The Mist, 2007, Frank Darabont. Yeah. Thanks, Blue Room. I knew it was Frank Darabont. Yeah. And then he went on to be the guy helming Walking Dead. Well, he started the Walking Dead series, I believe, Darabont. And then that got handed off to Nicotero. If you could produce a VS movie, who would you put up against each other? Oh, VS is in versus. Sorry. Chucky versus Leprechaun. That would actually be pretty funny. Ooh, a versus movie. That's a good question. So if I'm doing it based off of just like my favorite villains, then I would just say it's Pinhead versus the Tall Man. But if I'm doing it based off of what would be the most interesting, that's much tougher to figure out. I could see one that would be potentially kind of funny. Michael Myers versus Jason Voorhees, because they both move slowly. So that would be weird and interesting to figure out. But I think another good matchup would actually be Pinhead and Freddy Krueger, because they're both unpredictable. Yes, rewatch them. They are a fun watch. Okay. Alright, I'll do the Hatchets again. Horror movie to die in, Frankenhooker. Oh, you want to explode from that special crack rock that he made? Frankenhooker's good. To be honest, Frankenhooker might be in my next haul of Blu-rays that I get. Society, Frankenhooker, Death Race 2000, Roger Corman film, and what else do I really want? There's one other one that I was thinking I really want to get. I can't remember what it is right now. I'll remember later. But actually, by the way, on the topic of Frankenhooker, I really do like Frank Henenlotter. The way he does films like Basket Case. I've only seen the first Basket Case, but I own all three of them. I'm going to eventually watch them and do reviews for all three of them. But love Basket Case, love Brain Damage, which I actually have a review for Brain Damage on the channel. And Frankenhooker is a lot of fun too. I just like the way he writes. Like, they're not good movies, but they are good movies from a ridiculous, fun perspective. So I love Henenlotter for that. Still want to see Ash versus Freddy versus Jason. I know. They talked about that a lot. Yeah, Uncle Pete. Ash versus Freddy versus Jason, I know. It would have been so amazing. They talked about it for a bit. I think they actually had like a spec script on it too at one point. Comic series was really good. Yeah, I need to get the comic series, by the way, of that. That would be amazing. Amazing. Jeffrey Combs or Bruce Campbell. As far as to meet, because who would I want to meet most? I'd have to say Jeffrey Combs now, because I've already met Bruce Campbell. Real nice guy. But if I hadn't met either of them, I would say Bruce Campbell. Because I love him. And not just because of Ash vs. Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, although he's amazing in those, but because of Bubba Hotep, man. I love Bubba Hotep. Blue Room, that's a tough decision, but I go with Ash. Said Pete, Uncle Pete. Met Bruce Campbell in Iraq? What was he doing there? Nice guy. That's interesting. It's just, it's a weird place to meet someone like Bruce Campbell. You know? You would not expect to hear that. I mean, I didn't expect to hear that. Seen all 3 basket cases, like them all. First one's the best. Arrow Blu-ray for basket case is great. I bet it is. Arrow does a good job. I actually have a German produced Blu-ray box set of the 3 basket cases. I got it through Diabolic DVD, which I love Diabolic DVD. I did a haul video recently that I put up on the channel for their stuff. The thing is, like, I know I could get what I get from them a little bit cheaper if I go to the companies actually putting them out, but I want to be able to just get everything in one place, you know, because I don't want to have to be like, oh, this movie's put out by Arrow, and this one's put out by Vinegar Syndrome, and this one's put out by Scream Factory, and you know what I mean? Like, I just want to be able to go to one place and be like, this is where I'm getting it. 2010 was the year. Met Bruce Campbell in 2010 in Iraq. So that was pre-Ash vs. Evil Dead. Oh, Little Angel likes Brain Damage. Yeah, Brain Damage is fun. Elmer. That's a wacky movie. It's like really wacky. Like when he's like seeing all the crazy colors and visuals and stuff, and he goes into the I think it's just like a dump or like a scrapyard. It's really something. And the amount of times that they show like the little fang come out and like go in the back of his neck. The amount of times they show that type of scene, it's pretty funny. It's just like, okay, we get the point. But, you know, he's a junkie. He's got to get his juice. Got to get juiced up. Have you considered adding videos to your movie review? Oh, as far as, like, portions of the movies? No. And the main reason for that being it would be a crazy amount of extra work that I don't want to put into it, to be honest. Like, I like doing the reviews, but I want to minimize how much I have to do with that, especially because I'm busy with a bunch of other things. Like, I work a normal job, and me doing the movie reviews is something I added on top of me having done a beer podcast, which I'm in my 9th year of doing the beer podcast. So that's been like a long-term thing, and it was a little bit of a gamble starting to do the movie reviews in the first place time-wise, because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be, you know, burnt out between doing the podcast and these movie reviews or what, but so I try to keep it relatively low work on that stuff, which is also the reason that when I do my reviews, I do them all in one take. It's all one take. I also really, really hate it when people edit videos on YouTube so you can see all the cuts. Like, it makes it so choppy. And for me, I hate that. Yes, I ordered Basket Case and Brain Damage Arrow Blu-rays from Diabolic DVD. They had the exclusive pins with those releases. Oh, really, Little Angel? They had pins with them? That's pretty sweet. What were the pins? Was the Brain Damage like an Elmer and the Basket Case was a Belial? Because that would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, man, Diabolic DVD, I love it. I wish they were paying me to say that, but I just like them. Is there a classic horror movie you would like to see remade? If so, what movie is it, and who would you have direct it? Ooh, that's a good question. So, classic horror movie I'd want remade. It's tough because with the classic horror movies, I usually like them a lot, so I naturally feel like I don't want them to be remade, because remakes typically are not good. But that said, let me think. What would be good to be remade. I know there was at least something I'd watched not long ago, and I was like, if they remade this now, it could be really good. I'm going to be, well, since we just talked about it and it's kind of fresh on my mind, I would say Event Horizon, which, by the way, they're going to do a TV series if you didn't know. I had it in my review video, but I don't know if you saw it. They're talking about doing a TV series for Event Horizon through Amazon. Um, but, yeah, could be good. So Event Horizon's a good choice. What else would be a good choice? Trying to rack my brains. So here, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to think about a director I would love to handle a remake and then build it from there. So Chan-wook Park as the director who did things like Old Boy, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Stoker, things like that. He'd be an amazing director to do anything. So what could use amazing visuals and very particular eye? I mean, I guess I got to go with Phantasm, just because I love Phantasm so much. And it would be interesting to see what someone else could do with Phantasm nowadays, I guess. I would just have to prepare myself before I watched a remake of it, because it's so great. I love it so much. What up, cat? My cat's sniffing me for some reason. She's out of sorts because I'm up still. So yeah, I guess my best thing is Phantasm remake done by Chan-wook Park. That would be pretty cool. Although let me think of like a high gore film, because Takashi Miike would also be interesting. The Japanese director who did like Audition and Shinjuku Triad Society and Fudo and Deadly Outlaw Rekka and Dead or Alive series, and I could just keep going. But what would Miike do well? What's like High Blood? Because he does so much like arterial spray stuff. It's amazing. What is a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake by Takashi Miike? That could be fun. It is tons of work to create and edit those type of videos. Then you have to fight copyright battles. Yeah, I know. I think there's a certain length of clip you are allowed to put in without hitting a copyright issue. It's like a certain number of seconds you can put in, but yeah, I just don't want to mess with it. It's too much of a pain. Plus, when I'm doing my reviews, I always encourage people. I say I'm gonna do spoilers, so go watch it and then come back, because I don't want to spoil stuff for people. Although I'm sure people watch it anyway when they haven't seen it, and that's fine. To each their own. Elmer from Brain Damage sounds a lot like the Warner Brothers frog singing. That's a good point. I didn't think about that, Blue Room. I did not think about that, but you were dead on with that. He really does. He's got that kind of like douchey radio host type voice, or game show host. Probably a better way to put it. Just rewatched Fright Night. It still holds up. I assume you're talking about the 85. 85? I think it was 85. The 1985 one. Yeah. Oh, Uncle Pete, Takashi is sick. Yeah, you know it, man. Miike. Ooh, I had a phase like right when I got out of college. So, what are we saying? Like 2005-ish. Where I just went on like a binge of trying to watch as much Takashi Miike as possible. So I own a bunch of his stuff, and I've seen a bunch of his stuff that I don't own, but it's hard to see all of his stuff because he's made so much. I think he was averaging at one point like 7 movies a year. That guy's a machine who just pumped those things out. Is there a remake that is hated that you actually like? Remakes that's hated that I like. I can't think of one at the moment because honestly I don't watch a lot of remakes. I don't know. I can't think of any remakes that I've seen that people hate that I actually enjoy. I mean, start naming some remakes. I'm having a hard time. I'm blanking on that. I love the Halloween remakes. I'm just a fan of Rob Zombie films. Oh, Uncle Pete, you are one of the Rob Zombie True Blue fans, aren't you? That's good. I have such a love hate relationship with Rob Zombie because I respect the hell out of that guy. I really, really do. I think he's crazy creative, and whenever anyone can kind of like cross boundaries, and he was really good. I loved his music. He did a great job with White Zombie. He was really good on his own as just Rob Zombie, and then he crossed over into film. I greatly just respected the fact that he could do that. I just don't like a lot of his films, but obviously Devil's Rejects is really good, considered to be his best for sure. Lords of Salem, a lot of people hated Lords of Salem. I actually kind of liked it. So, I don't know. The original Fright Night, yeah. I love the original Fright Night. I love Fright Night so much. Oh, which, by the way, on remakes, I've heard that the remake of Fright Night is actually not bad. So I do want to watch that. Yes, Elmer and Belial were the pins. Oh, so cool. I think the pin offers sold out, though. Yeah, I'm sure they did. That you can find them on eBay or somewhere. Yeah. I do collect pins, and those would be some sweet pins. I might have to go looking for that. Pete, I also like the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes. Oh, two people who like the Rob Zombie remakes. So I will say this. I watched the first 20 minutes of the first Rob Zombie Halloween and quit. So I guess I didn't give it a fair go. So maybe I should go back just to do my due diligence. Love his music and films, yeah. Like I said, very creative guy. I have so much respect for him because of that. Oh, okay. Uncle Pete, the Fright Night remake is a good flick. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I mean, I do want to see it at some point. I definitely do. That would be a good kind of comparison. Which, by the way, I also want to do. My neighbor, who's big into like some older films, Argento in particular, he loves Argento. He was asking me if I could do a video at some point doing a comparison between the original and the remake of Suspiria. That would be fun. I just need to, work up the time to do that. Because it's easy to do individual movie reviews. It's much harder to do kind of like a joint one where you're taking something older and something newer and trying to make those comparisons. The voice of Elmer was John Zachary. John Zachary is the guy that Joe Bob talked about a lot. He also played the weatherman in the movie Frankenhooker. That's one I need to rewatch. That's been about 4 or 5 years since I've seen it. Which, yeah, I'll definitely rewatch it because I plan on buying it at some point. I'm going to hold off for now because of my last Diabolic DVD haul, but Frankenhooker, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Which, by the way, a movie, I think it's through Vinegar. Is it Vinegar Syndrome or Severin? It might be Severin. Has anyone seen the movie Killer Croc? I think it's Severin who puts it out. I want to know about that because just based off the poster art, it looked interesting to me. But am I misguided on that? Should I not see Killer Croc? It looked fun. That's all I gotta say about that. Oh, okay. Here we go. I'm late getting back to this, but the remake question of remake that people crapped on, but I kind of liked. The Piranha remake. I actually like the Piranha remake by Alexandre Aja, and I know a lot of people who crapped on it. But here's the thing. Like, the original Piranha by Joe Dante and I think bankrolled by Roger Corman wasn't a good film anyway. It's a fun film, and it's one of those, like, so bad it's good films. So it's just very different than when Aja remade it, and it was intentionally funny. But I liked it. I thought it was good. Jerry O'Connell had his penis eaten. Eaton. Eaton. Not a word. Best twist ending in a horror movie? That is a really hard question. Best twist ending in a horror movie. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Sleepaway Camp, of course. Yeah, Sleepaway Camp, definitely. Yeah. If you got to watch it without being spoiled, yeah, yeah. Definitely, I could see that. I already knew when I first saw Sleepaway Camp, I knew about that twist to it. So, next best twist ending is Old Boy. That one had me jumping out of my seat, yelling, "Holy shit! Oh my god!" Okay, so Old Boy. Ugh, sorry, Old Boy is my favorite film of all time. The Shining and Old Boy kind of vie for my top spot all the time, but Old Boy is unbelievable. It's amazing. Is it horror or is it horror adjacent? I always kind of like struggle with that type of thing. Like, when does a movie cross that threshold of you can then just be like, oh, this is definitely horror, or it just has horror elements? Because Old Boy has like horrific things, but I don't know that I would classify it as horror. But I love it, and you are correct. That is probably the best like twist ending I've ever seen in a film. Other than maybe The Usual Suspects, but, you know. And Fight Club. God, I love Fight Club so much. I used to watch when I was in college, and a little bit after, a few years after that, I used to just, like, had it on VHS, so I would just watch portions of it until I fell asleep, and then would go back to where I fell asleep the next night, and then just play it again from there. And every time I would finish it, I would just rewind it and then just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, because I like that movie that much. Next best twist. Oh yeah, I already did that one. Just hated how they showed. I just hated how they showed too much in the trailer in the Piranha remake. Yeah, that's just a problem with trailers in general. Is it? And it's gotten worse over time, actually. Like, I thought the trailers and how much they showed were bad like 10 years ago or so. Nowadays, it's even worse. It is like terrible. Every time I go to a theater and I'm seeing the trailers, all the movies, I feel like I just saw the entire film. And with a lot of them, I'm like, I won't even see it now because I feel like I saw the movie and that's it. Like, you got to pull people in. Like, it's your opportunity to sell people on the movie, not make them feel like they saw the whole thing. Like, just give them a little bit, just enough to, like, pique their interest. And that's one of the things I really respect about Rob Zombie, is that he intentionally makes sure that he doesn't put a lot in trailers because he hates it when people do that. So good on him. What do you think of the remake of Old Boy? I did not watch it, Uncle Pete. I didn't watch it because, in my opinion, with Old Boy being one of my favorite films, potentially my favorite film, it is perfection. It's kind of like my measuring stick for what a film should be, if it's basically perfect. And because I hold it in such high regard, when I heard there was a remake, I was like, there's no way that they can improve on it. And there's no way that they can duplicate how good it is. So it can only be worse. So I just refuse to see it. Same thing with Let the Right One In. That's another one. That movie is so amazing that when they were doing a remake, I was like, won't see it because there's no way it's going to be as good or better. It's just not even possible. John Zachary was on Joe Bob October 1991 with Elvira. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't watching Joe Bob back then. I mean, I remember way back then, back in the olden days of Joe Bob, I remember like flipping channels late at night and like coming across Monster Vision. But I would stop and watch just for a little bit, but I wouldn't watch too long because I didn't stay up super late at that point. And then I just didn't really look too much into Joe Bob until he came back on Shudder and did the marathon. And then I was like, what is this all about? And then watched it and I was like, oh my gosh. It's that guy who I kind of knew about back in the day, and he's amazing. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I agree with you, Blue Room. I don't think Old Boy is a horror film. Like I said, it's horror adjacent. It definitely has horror elements to it and horrific things happening in it. One of the main things being the tongue, the claw hammer, and the teeth. You know, those things are pretty messed up. The remake of Let the Right One In was garbage. I assumed it would be. I assumed it would be. I had. I think I heard that the remake, and if you can confirm this or deny it, the remake for Let the Right One In was basically they tried to do it like a shot for shot remake. That's what I had heard. What would you classify it as? Yeah, that's a good question. Like, what do you classify Old Boy as? Thriller? Although I don't really like the thriller tag. Because I feel like a lot of times when films are horror films, they get tagged as thriller when people who say they don't like horror films like it. Kind of like Silence of the Lambs. Like, that's a very classic one that is a horror film that people are like, oh, it's thriller because we want to give it an Academy Award. And we don't want to give an Academy Award to horror. Anything horror. Wait, where's my... Here it went. Sorry, my water fell. Have you ever watched Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein? No, but I do have interest in watching that because I've heard good things. I've read about it. And didn't they do... They did more than just them meeting Frankenstein. They did some other ones. Am I right about that? I like when Joe Bob did the first Hellraiser on Shut. Yeah. First of all, just watching Hellraiser on its own, amazing. That movie holds up so well, especially the body reconstruction. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it was a shot for shot remake for Let the Right One In. Did not work at all. Not surprised. I mean, when you take someone else's work who did an amazing job and try and replicate it exactly, pretty much, how often is that going to go well? Like, never. Old Boy's officially classified as action, drama, mystery. Yeah. I would throw... I mean, you could throw the thriller tag in there, but yeah. I see. Oh, thanks for the info on that. Yep. Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man. Yeah, The Mummy. Boris Karloff. Yeah. I should check all those out. That would be cool. What up, Cat? What you doing, buddy? Still poking around? Yeah, I definitely want to check out those Abbott and Costello Meet films. They sound fun. Making weird noises. Do you need help with this? You want that to be like that? My cat's very particular about things. Yeah. Have you seen One Cut of the Dead yet? No. Although, that's one of those movies that, like the Stendhal Syndrome, has just been sitting on my Shudder list to watch. And it keeps getting ignored because other stuff shows up. Like right now, my plan is to watch Satanic Panic and Daniel Isn't Real. Those are the ones I'm going to do next. Although I keep thinking about going and watching One Cut of the Dead because I've heard a lot of good things. Now you can see my cat. Just poked her head in. Every time we talk, I just give you more and more movies to watch. That's true. That's true, Uncle Pete. That's okay, though. I already have like a giant list. Just know that when we talk about them, I put them on the list, but who knows when I'll get to them, you know? Do you have any other hobbies other than horror movies? I heard you have a beer podcast. Yeah. I'm big into craft beer. Like I said, I'm in my ninth year of the craft beer podcast. So yeah, that's a big hobby of mine. And then I play video games basically. And I really like Japanese culture. So I watch a lot. I watch anime and like Studio Ghibli films. I like a lot. Those are extremely relaxing for me. Those I'll usually put on if I want to like feel good about life, you know. Um, so yeah, and watching anime and you know hanging out with my cat and my wife basically. But yeah, the craft beer thing, I'm big into that. Been working on my palate for over 8 years now. Have you seen The Black Cat by Lucio Fulci? No, but it's funny you ask because I was just going through adding movies this evening before I jumped on to my Netflix DVD queue, and I added The Black Cat by Fulci. So, funny you bring that up, little angel. I'm about to watch Some Kind of Hate in the Room on Shudder. Let me know how Some Kind of Hate is. That is, I think someone who was involved with Satanic Panic did that. Let me check that. Or is it Daniel Isn't Real? No, okay. The person who directed Daniel Isn't Real directed Some Kind of Hate. Adam Egypt Mortimer. And I've heard Daniel Isn't Real is really, really good. So it also made me wonder how Some Kind of Hate is. So you have to let me know how that is. The Room, I haven't heard much about it. Except Tommy Wiseau's The Room. Like, terrible movie, but amazing. I lived in Japan for 3 years when I was stationed there in the Navy. Loved it so much. Uncle Pete, very jealous of that. Japanese culture, very interesting to me. I don't know if you've seen, I do the Snacku Japanese snack unboxing on my channel. That box is great. Some really awesome snacks directly from Japan. I love it. Blue Room, I have a bunch of movies that I plan on watching. I've created a movie server on my laptop, placed all my movies on there. This way I can watch them when I'm away from home. Yep, that's smart. That's smart. Is it something like Plex? Because that's what one of my buddies has a Plex, and he just puts tons of stuff on there. Is Mandy worth a watch? Depends on who you are. I know a lot of people who love Mandy. I don't. I would say you should watch it if you want to see just something that's really visually cool and you don't care about having story. Or if you want to see a movie that the whole story could be told in half an hour, but it's like 2 hours. I got into a really heated exchange with a good friend of mine about Mandy because he loves the movie and I really don't like it. And like he has a way of when he talks about movies he likes, like getting a little confrontational about it, which then in turn makes me a little confrontational. So we just ended up yelling at each other about how I think it's garbage and he thinks it's great. This is funny. He's actually a filmmaker. I don't know if you've ever seen the Trauma documentary Blood, Boobs, and Beasts about Don Dohler. He did that. I thought of that movie because of your cat. Makes sense. Yes. Oh, it is Plex. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy swears by it. He loves Plex. He's got like an insane amount of movies and shows on his Plex. So hopefully, Uncle Pete, what I gave you will answer your question about Mandy. You can make that decision for yourself. And I do kind of feel like people talk about Mandy so much that I will need to do a review on it at some point and give it another watch. Which, that's okay. I just don't... The writer-director, Panos Cosmatos, I'm not a fan of. He's one of those people who comes from money, and just because he came from money, he can make film. Actually, his first film, Beyond the Black Rainbow, which I hate as well. I actually think Mandy is an improvement on Beyond the Black Rainbow, so know that. But Beyond the Black Rainbow, I hated so much, and then I got even more mad when I did research and found out that um, he used his father worked on the film Tombstone, and he used residuals from that his father got from Tombstone to make Beyond the Black Rainbow. And I love Tombstone. I think it's an amazing movie. So the fact that money from that was funneled into that garbage was killed me. Godzilla Room in Hotel Brasserie Shinjuku, Tokyo, Japan. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear about that as well, Uncle Pete. Thanks for bringing that up, Blue Room. Godzilla Room? I need to know about this now. Haven't heard of it. Have any questions for us? I think I'll pass on Mandy. Heard something you didn't like about Mandy? I watched Dead Meat review on it, and it does look good visually, but I rather watch the original Suspiria. Yeah. Suspiria is way better than Mandy. They're not even close to the same league. But it sounds cool. Yeah, I should come up with some questions. Do you guys watch? Are there other genres that you guys watch other than horror, or do you find that you're almost only watching horror? Like, what other stuff do you go for, or do you never get sick of horror and you just keep watching it all the time? Which I feel like, for the most part, I am like that, but every now and then I'm like, I really want to watch some comedy, or I really want to watch an anime, or a suspense film that's not horror related. Happens every now and then. Blue Room, Mandy was good to waste an afternoon. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those movies where if you don't want to have to think a whole lot and you can just look and zone out and, maybe do some other stuff while it's going on, sure. But when it's 2 hours like that, I don't know. Plenty of YouTube videos on the Godzilla Room. A bargain at $450 a night. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up now when we're done with this stream. Because usually to help me go to sleep, I'll watch some YouTube videos to kind of calm me down while I'm laying in bed. So I'll look for that Godzilla Room. 80s action movies, yeah, Uncle Pete. Last Action Hero. Running Man. I love the Running Man. Running Man's so much fun. Love a lot of PF movies that came out in the 80s. PF? Oh, a lot of. I was like, a lot of PF movies. What are PF movies? I got it. My favorite of all time movie is Rocky. I'm going to disappoint you. I have not seen Rocky. I haven't seen any of the Rockies. I don't know. Don't think I care that much about boxing. Like a lot of adventure movies like James Bond. Yeah, Little Angel. So I used to watch a lot of James Bond with my family when I was growing up, when TBS would have the 7 days, 007 days of James Bond. So we would watch as much as we could. And I now own almost all of the James Bonds pre-Pierce Brosnan. The only one I don't have is License to Kill. A lot of adventure movies, yeah. Yeah, adventure movies are a lot of fun. Like Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones movies are great. Except I didn't see the Crystal Skull one. Yeah, I like adventure stuff. Like exploring. Favorite movie of all time is still Ghostbusters. Yeah, man. Uncle Pete, great choice. I love Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2 is really good too. I really did like that one. Oh, and here's something that I disagree with people on. A lot of people hated the female version of Ghostbusters. I actually thought it was decent. I didn't I didn't watch it and be like, oh man, I'd really like to watch that again. But for how much hate it got, I didn't think it was bad. I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoyed it. Let me put it this way: I enjoyed watching it once, and I was like, that was fine. Oh, Blue Room, Godzilla Room was on your bucket list, and you went there. Good. It's always nice to get those check marks next to big things like that. That's cool. Very cool. Well, guys, I'm getting like extra tired. When I started this, I was tired. Now I'm getting extra tired. So I think I might just go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys had any last minute things that you wanted to talk about real quick, we could do that. But want to wrap it up and hit the sack. Although I am looking up that Godzilla room before I go to sleep. You better believe that. Is there a movie that you know so well you can recite all the dialogue? No, probably not. But there are a ton of movies that I can recite at least a little bit of dialogue from. Um, One that I know a ton of and I can visualize almost the entire movie, I think, is The Goonies. Because I watched The Goonies so much when I was a kid, and it's still an amazing movie, and it really holds up. I love it. Love the older Japanese horror movies from the 70s and 80s. So I haven't seen any of those. I need to do that. Blue Room. I definitely need to do that. Subtitles and all. Yeah. I'm down with subtitles, but I can't do them if I'm tired. Like, if I'm really tired, I have to do dub. But otherwise, I prefer subtitle because I don't like it when the voices don't match the lip movements, which is one of the things I fought really hard to get past with the Giallo films and actually a lot of Italian horror. Little Angel, love Indiana Jones movies. The first three, fourth I like, though not like the first three. Yeah, I get that. Cool, thanks. Yep. See you next time. Yep, I will be doing another one. But I am going to try and work on coming up with the more structured thing. Take care and stay safe. You guys as well. Everyone stay safe. Plus, I like the Back to the Future trilogy, the original Star Wars trilogy, Star Trek movies. I'm not a Star Trek fan, but Star Wars, yeah, the original three, of course, amazing. Back to the Future, lots of fun, love it. Take care. Oh, movie dude, I'm sorry. He just jumped on. Hi, Carlin. So why so many subtitle movies on Shudder? I don't know. Movie dude, I'm sorry, but I am going to be jumping off. So, unfortunately, you showed up at the end. I'm sorry, man. But I do want to. I want to pitch something to you guys real quick. So I had a thought. So Uncle Pete had told me for live streams that I schedule that we kind of have a movie that we go into it saying this movie we're going to talk about. So everyone can go and watch it and then show up for the live stream and we can just immediately start talking about that. It wouldn't be the only thing we talk about, but that would kind of get things going. So what about this? What about we do that and then the next live stream after that has to be a movie that's somehow connected to the movie we just did. So like say for example, the example that Uncle Pete threw out was The Thing. So we watch the Thing, we talk about it on the live stream, and so then for the next live stream we have to choose a movie that is somehow connected to The Thing. So maybe it's another John Carpenter movie that we end up doing, or maybe it's another movie that Kurt Russell was in, or Wilford Brimley, or Keith David, or whatever, or the writer was the same, whatever. What do you guys think of that idea? Just let me know. 500 plus more subscribers and you can get super chats. True, but at the same time, and I feel weird about accepting super chats. All I really want is to get to the point where I can get money from YouTube. That's what I want. I don't want other people's money, like subscribers' money. I want YouTube's money. That's all I want. Great idea. Okay, thanks. Stay safe. And all of you. Yeah, everyone stay safe. Shelter, it's really like, I know a lot of people are just like, ooh, social distancing, shelter in place. But really, like, you probably don't want to get the coronavirus. I will tell you, as someone who had the swine flu when it came through, I was hospitalized. It is not a good time. So I really don't want coronavirus because I have asthma too, so that makes me high risk. So with as bad as the swine flu was, coronavirus would be even worse for me, and I don't want to do that. Movie dude checked out the movie 2018 movie The Dark. Was it good? Okay, Little Angel likes the idea. Cool. Sounds better than Oprah's book club. Nice blue room. I like that. Yeah, sounds better than Oprah's book club, definitely. So my idea behind that was that at some point, like if after we did a bunch of the live streams, then we could look back and say, look, this is where we ended up, and this is a movie we started with, and see like what the difference was, because it's like the whole 7 degrees of separation, you know. Do a review of the Godzilla room videos. It depends on what happens when I check it out. I need to know what it is first, really. Perfect time to watch movies and TV shows. Yes. Little Angel, 100% it is. That's why I'm going to do as much as I can, and I've been watching as many horror movies as I can and doing reviews so I can kind of stockpile them a little bit. An emotional horror movie. Okay. Yeah. I'm down with emotional with horror movies in general. Okay, Uncle Pete likes it. Got his blessing. I'm down. All right, cool. Well, we will do that. I'll work on figuring out when we're going to schedule that, and then I'll probably just do like a little video that's kind of like an update saying when it's going to be and everything. But yeah. Oh, I should pick the first movie? Okay. I can pick the first movie. I'll figure it out. It'll be something that I just really want to talk about. So, yeah, I'm eventually gonna announce the upcoming streams. At the moment, the way I've been doing them is just because I'm trying to figure out how to best do them, and when, because things are so in flux right now. Like I don't really have much of a routine or schedule anymore. Well, I know it's with a lot of people, so once I get that kind of figured out a little bit, that'll help me nail stuff down. But yes, I will then announce when I'm going to be doing the live streams. And maybe it's a situation where it's like we're going to do it like every other, Friday night or Saturday or Sunday or whatever. But yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off right now, you guys. Thank you very much. Awesome talking to you guys, for sure. All of you guys. Good times, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. And like I said, I should be doing an announcing of when that's going to happen. So have a good night, stay safe, watch horror movies, and keep it brutal.